Yes, as she said, I'm Elena Guidi. I'm now working in Madrid, actually, but I'm Italian, and I actually not a Python programmer. So why am here? I don't know either, actually. But I'm going today to introduce you about the green computing. Someone here know about green computing? Do you know what's that? Can you raise your hand? More or less? Never heard. OK. 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 Before starting, I want to say that at the end, we have a Kahoot. Do you know Kahoot? At least? Yes. Better. OK. So just listen about that we have this Kahoot at the end. OK? So let's start about speaking about green computing. As you say, you don't know about it. But maybe do you know the word green? For example, greenwashing? Do you know about greenwashing of shops? OK, so as you know, green is speaking, we can say, about sustainability in general. And green computing is sustainability applied to technology. There is actually no a real definition of that. I personally like this one, that is a set of good practices. And at the end, the goal is to minimize the environmental impact, OK? And as I said, we are speaking about sustainability in technology. Today, I want to do, we can say, two parts. A first part is about green computing, just tell you what is green computing and some example of use. And the second part is about code carbon, so something more applied in Python. We are going to see it later. OK. Something that we maybe need to know to understand what we are speaking about is carbon footprint. Do you know what's carbon footprint? I think so. You can raise your hand, maybe? OK, more or less you know. OK. We can just say, what's that? For everyone don't know here. And we can say that it's the total volume of greenhouse gases of something. For example, we can, if we want, we can talk about the carbon footprint of this conference. So we have to consider everything in this conference, the hotel, speakers, travel also, and we should measure greenhouse gases. OK, just to have an idea. What are greenhouse gases? I think we all know, but here there are the more important ones. For example, water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, also ozone, etc. And what we can rely, we can say, with greenhouse gases is greenhouse effect. I think we all know about greenhouse effect. What I want to say that maybe not everyone knows here is that greenhouse effect is something positive. Okay, in general, it's something natural, it's something that exists, and is absolutely needed, okay? Because what is doing greenhouse effect is maintaining the temperature for life on Earth, okay? Without that, we can't have life on Earth, okay? How is it working at the end? We have these greenhouse gases that are the atmosphere at the end, and are creating a layer, we can say. And this layer is retaining inside the atmosphere the solar radiation. Solar radiation, of course, have heat, okay? So it's what is warming. And this is something that we can consider good, as I can say. What is not good is humans here. What we are doing and where is the problem, we can say. Okay, the problem is that we are producing too much greenhouse gases. And what we are doing is modify this layer. This layer, now we can say that is bigger. What this means? That more radiation is staying inside and less is going into the space. More radiation means more temperature. And for this reason, we are having this increase of temperature. So, coming back to the title and our penguins, okay? We all know about climate change, and the problem that is creating. So all these problems related to greenhouse gases are modifying the environment of penguins. And in a few years, probably we are going to lose a lot of species of penguins, a lot of type of penguins that are very sensitive to these environment changes. Okay, so if we want to help penguins, we have to take care of climate change at the end. And why am I here speaking about that? I'm here because we can say I like a lot this sentence, software is eating the world, and what this means. At the end, this means that software have a big, big impact in general. And in particular, doing the math, we can say that the 7% of the global electricity consumption have been done by the IT sector. This is quite big, huge number comparing with other sector. Okay, this is a number of 3 years ago. And what we are expecting is an increase of this number of is 70% by 2030. Okay, this is quite huge number, as you can see. And what this means at the end? This means that technology have a really huge impact on that. But what I consider interesting is that we are tech at the end. We are the tech sector, so we can take care of it. This is data that I like. It's about China, but at the end, we are all in the same Earth, we can say. So it's something that could be interesting for us, too. And this energy consumption of data center of 2020 and 2035, okay, in 15 years, we are expecting a 222% increase. It's like a brutal number, in my opinion. And why are we talking about this? Because we can say that inside the IT sector, what is consuming more energy are data centers. I mean, we can try to understand it. Me, at home, I have an impact, I do, but it's less than a data center, of course. And about data center, what we can say is how data centers are consuming this energy. The answer is a 10% is for data storage. And this is something up to the users. Okay, so we can do something in general for this data. I mean, we as people that are using data center, but at 90%, that is at the end the majority, is doing for server cooling. Okay. A lot of people have seen this data and then they say, okay, we can work here. And how we can work there? Creating green data center. Maybe you don't know green data center, but it's always green, used always in the same way. So the idea is always the same. Creating data center that are designed, so when you are creating, when you are designing the building, the center, think about cooling and try to create a way that is minimize the environmental impact when you are doing that. And I'm going to present you some, in my opinion, interesting cases. The first one is Project Natick. Do you know about this project, maybe, from Microsoft? Someone of you? I'm sorry for the streaming people. I don't know if you are answering. But OK, Project Natick is a project by Microsoft. And the idea is to put the data center at the bottom of the ocean. They did it, actually, and it's still working. Good. Why? Of course, we are speaking about companies, and they always think about money, I say. So, of course, there is a cost saving. Why? Because, of course, renting a building in the city of Florence is more expensive than use empty space at the bottom of the ocean. But there is a second reason we can say that is the one that I consider interesting in our case, that is energy saving in cooling. And the reason is that at the bottom of the ocean, I think we all know that temperature of water is quite cold. Do you agree? It's cold at the bottom of the ocean, okay? And what this means, that if you are putting something that is hot, but very, very small there, naturally it's going to cool. This what means that you need less energy to do that, because they are using nature. They are using water to cool. And this is better for the environment, we can say. A second example that I like really, really a lot is in Helsinki, Finland. We are here in the capital, in Helsinki, and there is the Cathedral of Helsinki, okay? In the Second World War, they created a bomb shelter under the cathedral, okay? And when the war ended, the space was empty. So they thought about that and say, how we can use this, okay? How? They put there a data center, okay? Because also in this case, we are under the surface, and this cooler the temperature there. So we are using the same logic. Put the data center in a cold place that in this help naturally cooling the data center, and we need less energy. But it is something more that I like a lot. As you can see in the photo, the sea is very, very near the cathedral, and we are in Finland. Water is cold also there. So they decide to use this water. They're using the water, arriving to the center, using this cold water to cool the center. And what happened when water passed near the center, water is warming, because it's few water, of course. So data center is cooling and water is warming. And they decide to use this warm water for something, and is to use it for houses of the cities. They have already hot water, and they can use it. Of course, you can't drink that, because it's seawater, but you can use for warming. It's quite cold city. So they use for that. And they also won some prizes, like green prizes for this idea, and they still in use, and I think it's quite good idea, personally. But let's continue. What we can do in our day. First of all, I consider that we need to know. We need to know our impact. This is just an idea. There are a lot of places where you can do that. Greenalgorithm.org is an open source one. So you can just have a look there. So in this way, you can calculate what is your impact. And I've taken also some few ideas. Of course, we can use Green Data Center, so we can be responsible users. Just try to know what we are paying for. Of course, our part in the energy, we can try to don't save unnecessary data, and I think at work we all do that. For example, for logs. I have a lot of logs generally, and usually we don't read that. Not all the information, at least. So just save useful information. Try to optimize code. This is like very complicated stuff to do, and it's not so easy as it looks like, but study about optimization could be something useful. Similar to the second one, not allocate unnecessary data structure, and also repay and reuse the hardware, okay? Because in the life cycle of an object, for example, of computer, create it is the most expensive part, expensive in terms of energy consumption, okay? And second part, about Python. I wanted to talk about Code Carbon. Someone here know Code Carbon? No one? Okay. You can search for it. It's open source too, and it's a package that we can use. I really like it because it's very easy to use, in my opinion. Here you can find in their website all the information. This is how it looks like, okay, if you run from your computer. This is running local. Here you can see, for example, the quantity of energy that you are using. Okay, there are a lot of things that you can configure. And there are, we can say, 2 ways we can use it in particular. The first is a decorator. As you can see, is track emission, okay? And is applied to a function. So this, in this example, I have a get function, okay? This is a REST API, okay? Just to calculate everything about this get. There is also an offline mode, as I put here, and you can see in the doc, of course. In this case, it's mandatory to put a country, okay? Why? For the reason. Energy is different according to the country. So if you are, for example, in South Africa, you are going to have the energy that you are using, we can say, is creating a lot more environment problem that if you are in Iceland, that is almost 0, okay? The emission for the same quantity of energy. The second option that you have is an object, okay? This is if you want to calculate something inside a function, for example. Here, there is an example. Use with emission tracker, and everything is inside the emission tracker is going to be calculated. So for example, in this get, I don't want to calculate this part, for example. So this is another option that we have. And there is also an offline way to use it, okay? And you have the code here. You can scan or you can search in my GitHub, Elepan. And this is just, as I can say, a REST API with this use that you can try. And of course, you can read the documentation and you can test in your code. For me, the important thing is that it's really 1 line of code that you are adding, because we have to maintain it, you know? So this is the part. And what I wanted you to think about and to have at the end of this presentation is that done is better than perfect. So you don't need to be perfect. But if you are doing something, it's good, okay? For example, spoken about 5 cases, 5 things that we can do. You don't need to do all the 5 things. If you're doing 1, it's better than 0. So be here, trying to understand this problem is something that you are doing, for example. So be aware of the problem. Talk about the problem is also something that we are doing to help. So you can feel better at the end of this presentation because you are doing something for the environment, okay? And thank you. We are going to do the Kahoot right now and the Q&A later. We are going to do the Kahoot is a very big assumption, we can say. Let me try to do the Kahoot right now. Okay. Because we have some problem with the internet here. Okay, now it's working. Classic mode. Okay. Okay. You said you know Kahoot. I believe it. In any case, you can enter on the application or in the website, kahoot.it, and they're going to ask for the PIN, and you can put this PIN. And I wanted to understand where it started. Have I started it? Yes. Okay, I have to do it directly here, I think. So let me try. Yes. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. So let's wait 1 minute more to people to enter or something like that. Okay, we like these faces. Like on hard earth. Thank you. It's very related to the conference, we can say. Okay. And I think we need to start. Let's start. Okay, there are 3 questions. So everything can change in very few time. First question. Okay, how much is the increase in energy consumption in data center in China expected? So the value, the second value that we have seen for 2035, how much is? Okay, we have percentage, 70%, 7%, 222%, or 111%. Do you remember how much is? Okay, 22 answer. 1 second left. Okay. Oh, very good. Thank you. You have listened to me. Thank you very much. Okay, almost everyone remember about that. This was quite, similar because our 3 number equals, but was 222. Yeah. Next. Who is the first one? Barbara is the correct pronunciation, I think. Hope so. Okay, perfect. Compliment. Well, very, very near. We have only 2 points, so you have to do very good in the next one if you want to stay there. And let's continue. Second question. What percentage of energy is used to cool data center? Do you remember? We have seen 2 data, one for data storage and one for cooling the data center. Okay, we've already 20 answer, 22, 50 seconds left. Okay, everyone answer. Very good, very good. And 90%, exactly the 10% was to store data. Okay? So let's see the score now. And, oof, we have lost you. No. Yeah, G. Who is G? It's here. Compliments, G. Let's continue. This is last question. As you can see, everything have changed. So everything can change in last question, okay? Let's see this one. So how is the code carbon decorator code? Decorator. We have seen the object and the decorator. Do you remember? This is quite complicated question, actually. And I really know that. But just let's check if you remember it. Okay. One is the name of the object, and the other ones are totally invented, but with the same words, just changes of order, yeah. So, very good, actually. You did quite well. And so let's see now the score and the winner. So, the third one is P. Who's P? Compliments. Second, Camille. Camille. Yes, compliment. And first one, Mish 99. Who is Mish? Compliment, Mish. And we are done now. So if you have some question, I think we have a few time, right?
First of all, an applause for her.
Thank you. And also for them.
Yes.
And everyone have done very, very well. So I'm very happy for that.
Yes, as probably you were busy, also fill out this very nice interaction. There are any questions from the room? Just in case. Okay.
Okay. You need the Microsoft
Can you tell
people.
Me? I
yes.
can repeat it if you want.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for the presentation. And secondly, as a mid-level engineer, so I would like to contribute to fight against climate change, but I don't know where to start from. Would you recommend me starting contributing to some GitHub repos? And if there are any examples that you know of, would you let me know?
So he was asking about way to contribute to the code eventually, to join the effort of Elena with green computing. And
yes.
how?
Okay. About code and GitHub, for example, I say Code Carbon is open source, so you can check there. Probably they have some documentation and some issue and something where you can work for. But I must say that, in my opinion, it's not only code, as I can say it before. For example, be aware, speaking about this, is something that you can do. Also, I consider that something that we can do as engineers is to ask companies to do that. So, ask the company where you are working for. I think you are working for someone. I don't know if you are freelance, but in any case, if you have a new client, something, just ask about that. What you are doing, what data center you are using. Because I consider, for example, greenwashing is a very good example of that. What is greenwashing? Greenwashing, at the end, in my opinion, means that company understand that interest of people are moving money at the end. So they understand that people now are more aware about this. They take more care about this. And if they don't move to be more green, they are going to lose money. They are doing in a wrong way, okay, because they should do it correctly and not greenwashing. But this is something that means that, hey, we can do the difference, you know? If we care about something, big companies know. So we can do it also in technical part. So where you are searching for a job, you can ask to a company. And about green computing, what data center are you using? What you are doing? What's your footprint? So a company can understand that engineers know about that and they care about that. And maybe they are going to lose candidates for that. And they want good candidates. So if good candidates start asking for that, they need to start doing that if they want to continue working. So this is, for example, other things that we can do. Talk about this, ask about this. And of course, we can also contribute in code. An example is use Code Carbon. You can search for other options. So be aware of your impact. Try to work on it, not only in code, not only in your job, in your life in general. And of course, you can search, for example, Code Carbon and contribute with code. That is something that also, of course, is very important. I don't know if this answered to your question. OK, thanks.
Thank you, Elena. I have a question for you regarding policy making. Do you find that policy making could be an impact in that, in terms of have more people asking to reinforce green data centers, for example, because sometimes it's also a collaborative environment, a collaborative initiatives by many countries. So what's your role of policy making in green computing?
What do you mean with policy making?
Like making policy that can reinforce making green computing like that instead of older. Do you think that reinforce how to do green computing and green data center especially can be done, or there's still a lot of legacy of the old ones, and how to go further in that direction that you
Okay, in general, I think so. I think we can change, of course, not always. Sometimes maybe they have to restart from scratch for doing that, but we are always the same that we said. They are going to do that if they consider that it's needed to work. No? So yes, for sure they can do that. In some cases, it's possible. For example, in some data center, you can just maybe start using green energy. You have not to put your data center in the ocean. I mean, you can use a very normal data center and change the energy that you are using. Take care of use green energy, for example, is a big start that you can do without creating a new building, for example. So yes, I think they can do that.
Thank you very much, Elena. And again, an applause for Elena.
Thank you. You can reach me on Twitter, for example. In the slide, there were the name, Elena Pandino. So you can search there. If you have any more questions, you can write me there, and I can send you, for example, some data or something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Elena Pandino on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again. Okay.